Well, paramedics have also spoken out about how the state's health crisis is affecting their mental health. Last financial year, the Tasmanian Health Service failed to meet any of its targets to reduce ambulance ramping. Paramedics say with the busy summer period approaching, things will only get worse, and they fear it'll take a critical incident to make the state government act. Rihanna Whitson has this special report.
When 9 out of 10 of Hobart's ambulances are ramped at the Royal Hobart Hospital on any given day, it means patients are waiting. And it's Felicity Dunn's job to field their calls and try and dispatch ambulances as soon as possible.
I've run out of trucks. I have nobody available to go to this emergency case. We need to find somebody. We need to see if someone can be released from the hospital. But on the other end of things is that at the hospital there's nowhere to put the patients.
Ambulance ramping has become the new normal at Tasmania's two major hospitals.
We're not even into the busy season and already we have people waiting on stretchers that are uncomfortable in a hallway with paramedics standing next to them, no room to sit down and care for patients for 3-4 hours at a time on average.
Ambulance call-outs increased by 6.5% last financial year, and the state only has 6 000 lines. It can take just one fatal car accident for all of the lines to fill up. The ongoing stress has led to the union delegates speaking out.
I've just answered it. Ambulance Tasmania, is your patient conscious and breathing? And if they say yes, definitely, I have to say please hold, and I'll go on to the next one because the next one could be somebody in cardiac arrest.
The pressure on the major hospitals means semi-rural paramedics like Malcolm Moss now spend much of their week responding to jobs outside of their area. And they spend long hours waiting at the overcrowded Royal with patients until they can be admitted to ED.
There is going to be a critical incident or something's going to occur that's going to trigger this being fixed.
Mr Moss is worried the situation will lead to a critical incident. He says paramedics who are not trained in hospital care have been forced to monitor patients after ED staff have administered medication.
I'm talking about drugs which just are not in our scope of practice and just levels of care which we are not authorised to deliver.
A paramedic from the state's north told the ABC the ramping at the Launceston General Hospital is having a direct impact on the mental health of staff. We have patients actively having cardiac events who are still on trolleys. All the while, 000 calls are coming in. We are being pushed to the absolute limit. Jack Tatenhove is one of the state's 480 volunteer ambulance officers. He's rostered on 140 hours a month and says the system is taking its toll on non-salaried staff.
All the details go into that bucket. And one of these days you go out and it could be a broken fingernail, just to mention something, but that could be the straw that tips you over.
He says several volunteers are dealing with PTSD.
It would be helpful, even if somebody that's not on scene can say, oh, I noticed you went out on job X. Are you okay? At the moment, that doesn't happen.
The ABC understands the Tasmanian coroner is investigating the death of Hobart paramedic Damien Crump, who took his own life in 2016, and is likely to hold an inquest into his death. Ambulance Tasmania won't confirm how many staff are off on stress leave or on workers' compensation due to PTSD. Ambulance Tasmania staff have access to a peer-supported program run by volunteers and an external counselling service. Ms Dunn says it's not enough, and she's raised her concerns with the organisation's boss, Neil Kirby.
I actually said to him that I felt that the system was very broken and that they'd failed in their duty of care to us as staff. And I made it known to him on 2 occasions.
Paramedics say without urgent action, more of them will become broken. Rihanna Whitson, ABC News.
And Rihanna Whitson joins us now live. Rihanna, there were a number of serious issues raised by paramedics in your story. What's the reaction been from Ambulance Tasmania and the Health Minister?
The Health Minister's office says ambulance response times are improving, but more does need to be done. The latest comparative data shows they're still the slowest in the country. They've also pointed to the $104 million in extra funding for ambulance services. That money does stretch beyond this term of government, though. Ambulance Tasmania didn't respond directly to the concerns raised in this story, but did say the organisation is always striving to do the best job it possibly can. We've just been told that currently about 6 or 7 ambulances are ramped outside the Royal.
Thank you, Rihanna.